What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Fun Boxing with Will. I am your host, Will, with H2O Co. Film and Photo. Today we're going to be doing a comparison video on one of my most favorite topics, drones. I love the DJI line of drones. I had originally purchased the DJI Mini. I found it to be a very capable, very amazing drone, but when I heard that they were doing the upgrade to the Mini 2 and it was going to have 4K and OcuSync, those two features really made me want to go out and get the Mini 2, so I did. I do apologize. This video in particular, I would just say isn't as high quality as the rest of my videos. Not that any of them are that great or anything like that. I am still very new to this YouTube thing and recording videos, so I am learning how to edit and how to do my lighting and all that as I go along. The reasoning behind this video being a little bit off, I guess I would say, is just because at the time I made the first part of the video, or not this part, but the part coming up, it was 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I actually had somebody come and purchase the Mavic Mini from me. So he gave me a call, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. He wanted to come pick it up, and I had to rush through the video, essentially. I threw up my camera real quick, and I kind of did a comparison video. I'm not sure if I went over everything that I wanted to, but for the most part, I feel like I got the majority of what I wanted to get across to the viewers out there as far as the comparisons go. So if I missed anything, I do apologize. It was just because, again, I had a 30-minute window to make the video before I sold the drone, and I had to rush through it. So yeah, other than that, we're gonna go ahead and get into that comparison video now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Alrighty guys, so like I said, today we're going to be doing a comparison video between the DJI Mavic Mini and the Mini 2 that just came out, I want to say last week. I went out and picked up the Mini 2, the Fly More kit on Amazon, and I believe I paid $5.99 for the Fly More kit. The base drone alone, just with the controller and the drone, one battery, I believe comes out to, let's see here, it comes out to $449 on Amazon. I would definitely suggest, if you're going to go and buy the drone, if you're in the market, I would definitely suggest getting the Fly More kit for the drone. The added 2 batteries, the charging dock, the 6 extra sets of props, everything that you get, I believe comes up to like almost a $300 value if you were to buy them separately, so it's definitely a good purchase getting that Fly More kit up front to begin with. But here we are. So we have the Mini and the Mini 2. Now, when the Mini came out, it was boasted as the lightweight, most portable drone on the market, and for the most part, from what I'm aware, that was a very true statement. There was very little wrong with the drone, honestly. I love it. I've had it for about 7 months now. I bought it the week that it came out. This is the actual Mini. If you notice, I got a decal on it. I like to deck out my drones with decals, give them their own little unique flavor. But yeah, it's a great drone, and actually this is the Mini 2. So if you'll notice, there is very little difference aesthetically. They're actually almost identical as far as what they look like. There's a couple, very few minor cosmetic changes that they put in here. One of them is that on the Mini 2 there's a light in the rear as well as the Mini, but with the Mini 2 the light is now a pressable button that actually gives you your battery indicator light. It pops up. Also, they've put a 4K little image on the front of the camera as opposed to not having one on the Mini. One of the other details that I've noticed is that the Mini 2, if you look at the prop motors, I'm trying to get this in focus here. If you look at the prop motors, there are little pieces of metal that extend out. I'll actually probably take a picture of these to show you right here. But there are these little pieces of metal that stick out, and they removed them from the new motors. To me, that almost appears as if it would be easier for dirt and debris to get down into the windings that are very delicate, but I'm assuming they did it for a purpose. I'm not sure what that purpose is. I do know, however, that the wind resistance on the Mini 2 is significantly heightened. It's up to 28 miles an hour, I believe now, as opposed to the Mini, the original, where it didn't really have that much of an advantage. If you were in a strong breeze, you were going to lose the drone. So I'm really impressed with the new wind resistance level that the drone has provided. Also, I've noticed that the drone's OcuSync tech, instead of running off of Wi-Fi, is invaluable. I have a 6-mile range now with the Mini 2 as opposed to the Mini only going 2 miles, and interference was definitely an issue with the Wi-Fi connection. I am super happy to see that go wayward. Now, also, utilizing OcuSync, that means that you got the new DJI Mavic Air 2 controller. It is identical to the Mavic Air 2 except for one little difference, two little differences. One is the LED indicator lights are now green instead of white as they were on the old controller, if you can see that there. And they added a pause button to the home, the return to home button. Now the functionality of that pause button is the same across all the drones. If you just tap it really fast on the return to home, it will pause the drone. It's like an emergency brake almost for any kind of a situation where you might have to stop that drone immediately. But other than that, very few cosmetic changes. I love the design of the Mini. I love the design of the Mini 2. I'm not disappointed in all that they didn't really change the outlook of the drone. The camera is actually the identical, like the gimbal and everything, they look identical. I was actually very surprised to find that my ND filters that I had purchased for the Mini fit on the Mavic Mini 2, no problems there, so I didn't have to go out and purchase new filters. I was really excited about that. That was a big benefit. I apologize, I'm looking for my cell phone real quick. Yeah, I was very impressed with that. I was very impressed with the fact that the filters fit the new drone. Also, one of the cosmetic changes that they added to the Mini 2 that is not in the Mini is now there is a front LED light so that you can see the drone better at night if you're flying the drone at night. I love that. And pretty much as far as aesthetics go, that's the only difference. The weight is identical, everything else appears to be identical. Some people I've heard say that the drone, the Mini, is a little bit smaller, but from my comparisons, they match up perfectly. There's not a single difference in measurements or diameter of the drone itself at all. I noticed that the incline on the front legs on the new drone are a little bit more straight as opposed to cocked backwards on the Mini. But other than that, everything looks to be identical. So yeah, now as far as functionality goes, that's where a lot of things have changed. So let's get into the functionality part of it. Like I said, we are now filming in 4K at 100 megabytes a second on the new model. We also have OcuSync 2.0, which extends the range of the drone's capacity by a lot. I want to say, from what I remember, it's about 4 miles added to the distance that you can fly the drone now. The noise on the propellers has been reduced significantly. The new drone has a very low profile sounding propeller. The props don't make very much noise at all, which is very convenient. Especially if you're trying to photograph wildlife or get into a situation where, you know, you're flying by a bird or something and you don't want to startle that animal. The Mini 2 is definitely the better choice as far as the noise goes. It's a lot quieter. Handling, it's essentially the same. There's not much difference there. The speed, I noticed, kicked up a little bit. The original Mavic Mini flew at around 30 miles an hour. It maxed out sports mode, whereas the Mini 2, I've noticed, is hitting about 35 miles an hour roughly in sports mode. So that's a new advantage that I really like as well. I don't believe any of the quick shots have changed. The only difference in the camera that I've noticed so far is you are now capable of zooming in with the new Mini 2. They say it's a 4-time zoom, but I haven't found anything other than a 2-time zoom. So maybe I'm just not finding it in the settings somewhere, or maybe they misspoke when I heard them say that it was a 4-time digital zoom. But it is capable, from what I can gather, a 2 times digital zoom. And the 4K at 100 megabits is crispy footage. I love the new footage from the new drone as opposed to the old drone. Now if you're consuming your media on, or your content on like a cell phone, you're probably not going to notice that big of a difference. But when I throw it on my 4K monitor here behind me on my computer to do my editing, I can definitely tell there is a huge difference between the two footages that come off of the drone. The sensor didn't change at all, so the low light capabilities still aren't quite there. But other than that, I've noticed really no insignificant changes in the drone. Now, is it worth the upgrade? It was a $300 upgrade for me because I'm actually selling my Mini here in a few minutes. I have a buyer coming to pick it up. They're going to pay me $300 for it. I originally paid $5 for it, and now I'm selling it for $3, and I paid $6 for the new drone. So at the end of the day, I will have paid a total of around $500 for my Mavic Mini 2 after all sales have been made and finalized. So I feel like that's a good investment. I don't need both drones, so I'm definitely going to be selling this one today. But the OcuSync, that is exactly why I upgraded. If it wasn't for the OcuSync, I don't think I would have went out and spent the extra money. But to me, being able to have that connectivity without having to worry about, is it going to lose transmission? Am I going to get skippy footage because I flew behind a tree? You know, that kind of thing is very important to me. And so for me, the feature of the new OcuSync was well worth the money. And that's the main reason I bought it. The 4K camera definitely is an advantage. I'm not gonna lie. If you can get 4K footage, why not? You know, I've said it before in some of my videos. A lot of people these days consume their content, their media, on a cell phone. And I challenge anyone to tell me the difference between a 4K image and a 1080p image on a cell phone. So it's not that big of a deal. But at the end of the day, if you want to blow this up to a higher resolution or expand it onto a big screen TV, you're really going to notice that 4K improvement, and it's worth the extra couple dollars. I like the new carrying case a lot better, and one of the best features that they've included with the new Mavic Mini 2, they swapped out a accessory. So you used to get with the Mini, you'd get the prop guards. You don't get prop guards with the Mini 2. Instead, they gave you a plastic strap. Fortunately, I don't have it here with me, but it's a plastic strap that wraps around the unit itself and actually holds all of the propellers in place. That is invaluable to me. I love the fact that I can now keep my propellers in place. It makes me feel a lot more confident about taking the drone out and transporting it places without having to worry about one of the props falling off or getting snagged on something. Speaking of the props, the new props on the Mini 2 are substantially thicker, and I think that might contribute to the higher power of the drone and maybe the less noise as well. The old props on the Mini were kind of flimsy. They were almost paper thin, you could tell, super flimsy, but I really enjoy the new props, so that's something that I am very happy to see them improve upon on the new drone. But other than that, the gimbal seems to be the same, body style exactly the same. They still don't have any other added sensors to it other than the two downward facing sensors, but if you're a decent enough drone pilot, it doesn't really matter. I very rarely use my obstacle avoidance systems on my other drones. I own a Mavic Air 2, and again, as I said, I very rarely have the automated sensors put on because I fly enough. I have over 100 flights, and I think it's like 250 hours in the air on clock, so I fly substantially, and I have enough experience to know what I can and can't do with the drone. I accidentally crashed my drone about 3 weeks ago in the middle of the night flying it in a parking lot because I missed a tree that was there. Very funny footage. I actually posted that in my accidental durability test video about 3 weeks ago. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and go into my videos and check that out. It's pretty funny. So, but that has been my only crash in about a year flying DJI's products. So I'm very happy with the stability of their drones and how the GPS locks and targets and stuff. So, alrighty, like I said, yeah, that was a mix mash of a couple videos that I had taken over time just because of the fact that I was on such a time crunch to get that one part of the video out. So if you noticed any low quality or if it felt like I was rushing through the video, again, I do apologize. If there's anything that you feel like I may have missed, or if there are any questions about the differences between the two drones, feel free to leave a comment. I try to get back to all of my comments in the comment section down there. I always try to reply to all of my viewers. So again, I really appreciate you guys for sticking by, checking out this new video, and I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope you guys stay safe, and above all, stay creative, my friends. We need more of that in this world. Have a great night.